Today we are working on Unit 5, Lesson 8, Remembering, and our review today includes rounding to the nearest tenth, rounding to the nearest hundredth, multiplying with decimals, and dividing with decimals in the divisor. So when rounding to the nearest tenth, I always like to include my place value chart. Remember, you can always write one at the top of your page if you would like. Our number here, in the ones place, we have a 1, and then we have our decimal point, and then we have a 2 in the tenths place and an 8 in the hundredths. And this reads as 1 and 28 hundredths. In numbers 1 through 3, we're rounding to the nearest tenth. So we identify the tenths place, and that's here. So we're rounding this number 2. This is the number we're working with. We have to look to the number to the right. Immediately to the right of this, we have an 8. If the number immediately to the right is 5 or higher, we round up. So we are going to round up because it's 8. It's higher than 5. So our answer here is going to be 1 and 3/10, or 1.3. We can go now down and look at rounding to the nearest hundredth. Our first number, number 4, is we have a 4 in the ones place. We have a decimal. We have a 7 in the tenths, a 6 in the hundredths, and a 9 in the thousandths place. And we are rounding, it says round to the nearest hundredths. So we are working on hundredths right here. And so 6 is the number that we will be rounding. We need to look to the number to the immediate right of the 6, and that here is a 9. If the number following it is 5 or higher, we round up. So we go back to our 6, and we know that we round this 6 up. So our answer is going to be 4 and 77 hundredths, or 4.77. And I see that I wrote that in the wrong spot, so I fixed it. So number 4 is 4 and 77 hundredths. To go ahead and leave the place value chart there for you to refer to. I also forgot to tell you that number 19, stretch your thinking. You can go ahead and put an X through that. Let's practice a little decimal multiplication as a refresher. You've done quite a bit of this, so I think you have it down pretty well, but here's a refresher. Remember, when we're multiplying with decimals, we ignore the decimal in the beginning. Let's complete number 7, or number 7 together. We have 7 and 7/10, and we're multiplying that by 1 and 4/10. 7.7 times 1.4. We're going to go ahead and ignore the decimal. 4 times 7 is equal to 28. Put down your 8, carry your 2. 4 times 7 is equal to 28, plus 2 is equal to 30. Go ahead and put down your placeholder. 7 times 1 is equal to 7, and 7 times 1 is equal to 7. And now we can go ahead and add those together. 8 plus nothing is equal to 8. 0 plus 7 is equal to 7. 7 plus 3 is equal to 10. Now I have to identify where does my decimal belong in my answer. I go up to my original problem and I count all of the numbers within the problem that follow the decimal. I have 1 here and 1 here, so I have 2 numbers that follow the decimal. That means I need to shift my decimal 2 places to the left. So we start at the end of our number and shift 2 places, and my answer is 10 and 78 hundredths, or 10.78. Go ahead and practice one of our division problems that has a decimal in the divisor. Okay, and again, I know we've gone over it 1,000 times, but our divisor is outside, divisor, and that tells us how many equal parts we are breaking the dividend up into. And the dividend is the number that's being divided into equal parts. And the quotient is our answer. So we have divisor, dividend, and quotient. What we're working with on these problems is when we have a decimal in the divisor. In number 13, we have 9/10 for our divisor, and our dividend is 36. We cannot keep a decimal in our divisor, so we need to shift that 1 place to the right. And now our divisor is become a 9. We need to do the same thing to the dividend that we did to the divisor, so let's shift it 1 place. And the first thing we do every time is put our decimal on the line, move that decimal up and get it on the line. And then fill in your blank spot with a 0. We know that 9 cannot go into 3 because it is larger. We know that 9 can go into 36 because 9 times 4 is equal to 36. And 36 minus 36 is 0. Bring down your 0. 9 can go into 0 times, so your answer is going to be 40. We're going to practice one more of those together. Let's go ahead and look right to number 14. In number 14, we have 6 thousandths, 0.006 as our divisor, and we are dividing it into a dividend of 48. We cannot keep a decimal in our divisor, so we need to shift until we have a whole number. 1, 2, 3 places, and our divisor is now 6. Whatever we do to the divisor, we have to do the same thing to the dividend. 1, 2, 3 places we have shifted, and then we add in our decimal. Now, the first thing I do every time is put that decimal on the line. Now I can go back and add in my zeros to fill in the blank spaces. And 6 can go into 4 0 times. 6 can go into 48 8 times because 6 times 8 is 48. And I can subtract 48 minus 48 is equal to 0. Now, you can fill in the rest of it with zeros, a 0 above each, or you can bring down your 0. 6 times 0 is 0. Or 6 can go into 0 0 times. Bring down your next 0. 6 can go into 0 0 times. Bring down your next 0. 6 can go into 0 0 times. Your answer here is 8,000. All right, I'd like you to complete the rest of the page on your own. When you've finished your work, please take a picture, attach it to your assignment, upload, and turn it in on Teams.